Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Talking Reds, and it is the latest news and Liverpool news and transfer news and much, much more on this channel, where I bring you Liverpool content every single day. So there's been some big stories coming out of today's news regarding Liverpool. Aina news. Talk about Nottingham Forest right back at Aina. Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa. A little bit on Chiesa on why he might have been dropped and why he has been dropped in recent games. Ekitike still being number one target. Joe Gomez's future. Ben Doak's future. There's been so much coming out. I'm just going to go through it all now. Look at this. Absolutely lots and lots. Hato potentially joining Liverpool. Alisson Becker and his potential future as well. What a day of news! What a busy day of news! And again, big talking points. Who is going to replace certain players that are going to leave this summer? Trent Alexander-Arnold looks like he's going out the door to Real Madrid. David Ornstein confirmed that last week, despite the little hints and hopefully messages possibly of Trent staying at the weekend, but we still think that he is certainly on the way out of Liverpool this summer. So who is going to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold? That right now, Frimpong was the main one targeted before with reports, but now there is a huge report coming out. Ian Doyle spoke about it. Lewis Steele spoke about it, about Ola Aina of Nottingham Forest, right back, potentially could be the target for Liverpool this summer because he is going to be a free transfer. Aina is out of contract this summer, and he is going to be a free transfer. And what a free transfer it would be if Liverpool was to be able to make that happen. So everyone is joining. Make sure you smash that like. In fact, I'm going to write it down. Let me write it down. Smash the like button. Smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel and do what you need to do to help grow this channel. It would help massively. Thank you, everyone that has joined me so far. Thank you, everyone that subscribed. Smash the like button whilst you are here as well. Get in the comments as well. Get in your comments live on your thoughts about Aina, Morgan Rogers, Ekitike, Joe Gomez, Alisson Becker, Chiesa. There's going to be lots to talk about in this hour of news. So let's get started. Let's start with the reason why you are here. And that is the latest news of Liverpool today. That is the latest transfer news, the latest reports coming out. So let's start with what Ian Doyle said this morning. With Trent Alexander-Arnold at present set to become a free agent, our new right back will be required to challenge Conor Bradley. Ola Aina could be available on a free transfer, although there is a suggestion Forest could trigger a 12-month extension. So there is a chance for Forest to trigger a 12-month extension first before anyone else can speak to him. So, but there's a possibility there for Liverpool to get this signing done. I'm going to go what Lewis Steele said as well about Aina. If he was available on a free transfer, then after the season he's had, big clubs should definitely be keeping tabs. So, Liverpool, Ola Aina, is he one for you guys? I said it, I think a few streams ago now. I said he's free this summer. Why we're not, why we should be looking into that. And then yesterday and today we're seeing reports now Ola Aina is being linked now with Liverpool potentially because he is a free transfer. It would be an incredible free transfer. Let's be honest here, guys. Trent Alexander-Arnold, if he goes, Conor Bradley is going to be number one potentially. However, Conor Bradley has got a bad injury record right now. He's got a bad injury record and he needs competition. Ola Aina coming in at free transfer would be a no-brainer for me. If that becomes available, if Forest don't extend him on to another 12 months, then if that becomes available, then why not? He's had an absolutely incredible season at Nottingham Forest, being one of their main stars in a very successful season for Nottingham Forest in their fight for top four. A fight for top four that was never expected at Forest. In fact, if it weren't for Arne Slot and his season at Liverpool, then Nuno would be manager of the year for me at Forest. The incredible job he's done. And people like Aina, Milinkovic at the back, I think that those sort of players there have been incredible and have played a big part in them defensively sound. They've been defensively sound this season. A lot of their games have been won because of how stubborn they are. We've seen that. We've played them twice and not beaten them. Those and Fulham, the only two teams we haven't beaten this season in terms of the league. And Forest were very, very stubborn against us. They've got speed on and counter-attack, but these defenders as Aina is one of them, are incredible players. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you think you'd like Aina as a free transfer. For me, if it becomes available, I doubt it will. To be honest, I think if there is a clause there for Nottingham Forest to extend it first before he can talk to anyone else, because it's not like, I think it's a bit different to the Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent thing where he can talk to other clubs. I think there is. I think Forest have like the first word with him in terms of a clause. So if that is the case, I can't see him leaving Forest. I can't see Forest not wanting to keep him. But if he rejects Forest, then a door opens up for someone like Liverpool. Then why not? Why wouldn't we go for that? A free transfer. We've had some good free transfers in recent history. Joe Matip, James Milner. They're two very, very important free transfers who made a big difference in terms of squad depth and in terms of challenging as well. I mean, Joe Matip came in as a squad depth and became the centre back pairing alongside Van Dijk, and a big part of why we won things in that time of winning. Why couldn't I think Aina would not only challenge Conor Bradley? Why couldn't he get that spot himself over Conor Bradley? I think I'm happy with Conor Bradley being the number one, but he certainly needs competition and he certainly needs help because of the injury record that he has had this season. But yeah, let me know, guys, in the chat. If you are watching live, make sure you do smash that like button, subscribe, share, and also comment in your comments as well on today's news. So, Ola Aina for Liverpool, yes or no? Get in the comments. What do you think? Ola Aina for Nottingham Forest on a free transfer, guys, a free transfer. So let's get into also. I also wanted to speak about. Let's get him in. It's only recent, actually, as well. Recent news. Fabrizio Romano with some big news coming out in the last hour or so. Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers has certainly caught the eyes of Liverpool and their scouts in recent times, according to Fabrizio Romano. This is massive news for me because I absolutely love Morgan Rogers. Aina would be a brilliant one. Morgan Rogers would be even better. Liverpool have sent their scouts several times to follow Morgan Rogers. Liverpool will monitor his progress and keep an eye on developments in the case of surprise movements or potential exits. A deal for Rogers is seen as complicated by LFC. So we are watching him. Just like we watch everyone. Monitoring, watching from afar, keeping a close eye on, keeping tabs on, looking through a telescope at. That is what we do at Liverpool. We seem to monitor a lot of players. We seem to look at a lot of players. One thing we don't do is act upon it a lot. We seem to stand by and hopefully they'll somehow come to us without even trying as hard as to get them. And it says there already, Fabrizio Romano has sort of revealed that we want Morgan Rogers, but has also said in the same sentence that we find it complicated. If you want a player, Liverpool, you are champions of England. You are probably the most attractive team in England right now. If you want a player from another Premier League club, go can get them. You need to start acting like a club that you are. You need to start acting big club. It shouldn't be complicated. If he doesn't want to leave Villa, then absolutely fine. The only thing complicated is the money that is probably being thrown around. Champions have significant pull for attractive free transfers. Absolutely follow. I think as well, we should have significant pull for anyone. And when we're seeing here now in the news that we're saying, a deal for Rodgers is seen as complicated by Liverpool. It's not complicated if you put the money up. If you put enough money up, Villa accept, and Rodgers speaks to us, we should have the pull to bring Rodgers in. Once you've agreed a deal with Aston Villa, that deal should not be complicated. The only thing making it complicated is ourselves, and that's we're not willing to pay the money. How much would Morgan Rogers cost is the big question. It will be, especially when we've got left back as a priority, centre back, DM for me, striker, probably above that position. But it would be nice to go to someone like Morgan Rogers that can create chances. We are losing Trent Alexander-Arnold here this summer. We're losing a lot of creativity. We've got someone like Morgan Rogers that can create space, that can bring players in from the sides. We need someone else in that. Not just at Szoboszlai. We need some more competition for Szoboszlai in that area. If Elliott isn't the one, then go someone like Morgan Rogers, someone that can actually play across the front three as well, can play quite versatile as well as what he can give us in that 10 position. for me, if we were to get the other places sorted, then I would look at Morgan Rogers. I really would look at him. How much money it would cost for Morgan Rogers after the season he's had, English tax as well. I'd say at least 70 million. Because it has been one season, maybe they might knock it down a little bit. I think negotiations need to happen. If I were going for Morgan Rogers, I'd say I would down to Liverpool. My first offer for Morgan Rogers would be about 50 million. Just test the waters, see what Villa say back. Obviously, they'll probably ask for more, but I think you're not far off. 20 million in this day and age is not far off in terms of where you see the player. 50 million pounds for a class cam player is a decent price for me. But I think they will ask probably for the region of 70, 80 million. That's when we use the monthly installments thing. You don't really pay all in one lump sum anyway, unless it's a release clause like we do with McAllister and Szoboszlai. It's usually paid over years anyway. So for me, it's not that a deal that should be that complicated, unless they only make it complicated if Villa simply put a 200 million price tag on him, and Morgan Rogers don't have any intention of leaving Villa. That's the only thing that makes it complicated. If he says, "Look, well, if they value me at 200 million, then I'm not willing to push that. I'm not willing to force Villa to sell me. I don't really want to go." That's complicated. But if it's complicated just because we won't pay the money, that's not complicated. That's complicated for Liverpool. Simple as that. And we can come over that complications as well. For me. But if anyone else wants to say anything in the chat in terms of Morgan Rogers, do you think we should pay? If say this is a scenario, say we've got the striker, we've got the left back, we've got centre back. Would you pay another 70 million for Morgan Rogers to play in that kind of position, or to give Szoboszlai a little bit more competition, keep him on his toes? Because Morgan Rogers will certainly get that position for me right now in terms of form. Yeah, I think that complicated thing is made by Liverpool for me. So another player, obviously, that we're certainly looking like to get striker position is quite clear. We need a striker. Núñez is on the way out. Ekitike is still the one that is being talked about. Ekitike. I think this is the one for me. If anything happens in terms of that striker position, it is going to be Hugo Ekitike. This is the one that Lewis Steele keeps mentioning. Hugo Ekitike is the one to watch. Liam Delap and Matthias Cunha can be ruled out according to Lewis Steele. I think Liam Delap's probably going to end up at Newcastle or maybe Manchester United. Again, with Cunha, possibly Manchester United. Osimhen has been linked, but I've not heard anything on that one yet. So yeah, I'm hopefully getting Lewis Steele back onto Talking Reds at some point, and hopefully I might ask him about the Osimhen if it has heard anything about that so far. But the one right now, guys, everyone watching at home is Hugo Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike is the one that just keeps popping up. Is the one that's closest to not happening, but we saw about how serious we were about Isak. That was never, ever going to happen because we're never going to pay the money for Isak. Even if Newcastle want to get Champions League, we wouldn't put the money up for him. It's as simple as that. I accepted that ages ago. Ekitike, I said before, look, I'd take him if he came along someone else. If our striking options next season is what we've got now, Ekitike instead of Núñez, regarding Jota's fitness issues and if Jota continues to play like he has this season, that's a big worry for me. It's a big worry for me. Ekitike is brilliant, but if we were going to get Ekitike, I'd like Jota and Núñez both to leave and bring in another striker for Ekitike alongside Ekitike. That's what I would do, personally. I think there's better options out there than Ekitike. I think he's a good player. I just think there's much better options out there, and we should be going for the better options. Like I said, we're champions of England here. We should be one of the most attractive teams in the world. We should be able to attract the best of the best. And it's not even just Isak. I think there's a few options better than Ekitike. So if Isak's the best option, we should be at least getting the second or third best option. Even Salah wasn't the first option, but he wasn't the sixth best option. You know what I'm saying? He was like the second or third best option. That's what we should be doing on that front as well. I'm guessing LFC may have spent £200 million on 4 players and hopefully get a couple of free transfers to take it as to 6 new players. £200 million, mate. I can't imagine us spending that. I really can't. Even if we rejected 70, 80 million for Nunes, and we saw the reports yesterday that the value right now on Nunes is 35 to 38 million. How stupid were we rejecting that? Especially when we're a sell to buy club. And yes, it was halfway through the season, but it's not like Nunes has, apart from the Brentford game, it's not like Nunes has done anything else. We wouldn't have missed him, really. He's just there for the numbers this season now. We're not even playing. We're playing wingers up front over him. So if we're a sell to buy club and we pride ourselves on the sell to buy, then why we're not selling Nunes for 70 to 80 million is beyond me. Especially when Slot seems to have given up on him. Slot seems to have given up on Nunes. To not sell him for 70 to 80 million in January was a big mistake, because relying on those sales this summer for a budget for transfers, we need that money. And if the reports yesterday are true about Nunes now being 35 to 38 million pounds, that's half the money we could have got for him. That's a huge chunk. That's a huge chunk. I already missed out on there for our budget. £200 million. I don't know if Paolo. I can't see us spending £200 million. I really can't. I love to, but I don't think we can. Not that. No, I cannot imagine we will spend that either. It's hard to imagine it. It's a sad reality of things. But if we need to spend £200 million, we should be spending £200 million. And no one's asking for like £200 million players. But if we need a few positions, really, ideally, right, left back, centre back, CDM, striker, 4 positions there, and potentially a cam. That's 5 positions there we should be certainly looking at. So that should be at least £200 million. If you're talking decent players you want to get in, Kirke is about £40 million. Kirke is probably the cheapest one we're going to get. Left back, £40 million. 5 Kirkeses, that's £200 million. And he should be the cheapest one to get really this summer. So if we were to get 5 players, realistically is way over £200 million. Because 5 Kirkeses is £200 million, and he should be the cheapest player we should get this summer, really. Unless we do get someone like for free. But the free ones in terms of right back for Aina, that's absolutely fine. A cam's going to be expensive. A striker is always expensive, especially when you get the good strikers. They talked about Ekitike being 80 million. I ain't paying 80 million for Ekitike. If you're going to pay 80 million for Ekitike, put a fucking bit more to it and get Isak. Get the ready-made guy that's there for 2 seasons in the Premier League that's ripping it up. Probably the best striker right now in the Premier League. Potentially even the world in terms of the form and in terms of how complete he is as a striker. If you're going to pay 80 million for Ekitike, it makes 0 sense not to put a little bit more in and try to go get Isak. Or even then, Gyökeres is a better option. Alvarez is a better option. It's all right going for the next big thing sometimes, but sometimes if you're going to waste money on the next big... Nunes was supposed to be the next big thing. We wasted fucking 60, 70, 80 million on him. Sometimes you've got to take a risk and really, if you want to retain the league, or if you want to be a beast, you want to be the one to be feared, you've got to make statement signings at times. When we won the league last time, we stood still. We bought Adrian. Well, we won Champions League. We bought Adrian, Sepp van der Berg, and Harvey Elliott. And only Harvey Elliott really has worked out on those 3 signings. And even then, he might be looking to move on. I don't think he will. I think he wants to fight for his players. Fair play. But if Slot don't like him, Slot don't like him. Yeah. So I think regarding Ekitike, I would bring him in alongside another striker, personally. I think Jayden Dan's had a good, not really, don't know, I think he got a big injury at Sunderland, so he's not really had a loan, not a loan like we wanted him to have. I think he played like 1 game or something like that. So he needs to really go back out on loan, so we're not going to have him. Diogo Jota, we don't know what's going to happen with Diogo Jota. We can rely on if Diogo Jota plays anything like this season, he's simply not good enough to have around the club. He isn't. his availability was being covered up by how good he was on the pitch. He was a slaughter. But this season, not only has he not been available for a lot of it, he's not doing anything on the pitch. So it's becoming a bit of a... It's becoming a bit long, keeping him. And I do like Jota. He's one of my favourite players in past few years. 80 mil, get Rushy some robot legs for that. exactly, Paolo. Exactly. I think Rush right now would be better option than Darwin Núñez. Forget the robot legs, just Rush's legs now. Just give me Rush. At least he has the intelligence and probably when he's actually moved, he don't have to move much. Just be in the box and have the movement, and then he's got the finish on him. So give me Fowler's right foot over Núñez right now. Give me Fowler's right foot. Thank you, Xperia. I think next season is huge for Bradley. Hopefully, we have an adequate cover to keep pressure to a minimum. Absolutely. I mean, it's not even just cover to keep him on his toes and competition. It's cover for also his injuries, because this season he has suffered a few injuries. And when we get injury-prone players, even slots tactics don't really help the injury-prone players. It's helped the players that are not injury-prone. But someone like Jota still gets injured. Someone like Curtis Jones still gets injured quite often. Konate got injured quite badly. Joe Gomez injured. These injury-prone players are injury-prone players. Once they're injury-prone players, it's really hard to get out of that. Unless they play in leagues where it's a bit calmer, it's not as intense. But the Premier League is always going to be intense. The Champions League is always going to be intense. So to have injury-prone players is not a good thing. Bradley, if he becomes injury-prone, he needs to have competition. He needs to have someone there to fight for his place or to have that. Just make sure he's there. I can't see Quanta at right back. I don't want to. Gomez for me to injury prone. It's hard to rely on that. Curtis Jones, don't you dare say Curtis Jones is a right back. If we don't replace Trent as a right back, fully as a right back, and we say Curtis Jones did an okay job in that game he played there, then that sums up FSG for me. Dan's has excellent instincts. Dan's right. I said Dan's last season. I think Dan's is one of the best finishers we've got at the club. Dan's is the most clinical striker we have. The big issue is now with Dan's is that he needs another loan because he got loaned out and got injured and pretty much out for the season for Sunderland. So he needs to go out again. Hopefully he comes back pre-season, gets back in, gets his fitness levels back up. It's a shame about that. I was really looking forward to watching Dan's go out and loan for Sunderland. I think they're the perfect team to join because they're fighting for playoffs. They've got a very good chance of going up in the playoffs. And I think Dan's would have played a big part in I think the reason why they dropped off that promotion, the automatic promotion sort of race, is because of they didn't have someone like Dan's there. Madger's done a good job. Is it Josh Madger? He's done a good job this season, but I think Dan's would have had a big impact on Sunderland for me. And I think if he stayed fit, I think they've got a very good chance of going up this playoffs. I still don't think Sunderland will do enough this season, but it would have been a perfect loan deal for Dan's if he were fit. Absolutely perfect for him. Absolutely perfect. Mini rush, absolutely. Imagine if it was a mini rush. Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it like an Ian Rush up front. Or Fowler. I would absolutely love someone that just knows where the goal is. It's just instincts. It's just a natural striker. And I don't think Ekitike is that. I think your natural strikers out there is probably someone like Isaac or Gyökeres. Gyökeres has got like 40 goals in the league. Is ridiculous. And Isaac for me is the most complete striker. So he should be the one we got. If we do are willing to pay 80, 70, 80 million for Ekitike, then why not put a little bit more and go get Núñez for me? How many signings do you think we'll get over the line, says Xperia? Reports saying we're going to be busy, but we have heard this before. I'm glad you don't fall for it, Xperia. I'm glad the chat that is coming in here and not falling for this. We have heard it many, many times before. Every single summer we say busy summer, war chest. And it never comes out. And we don't need £600 million players, but we certainly need, as Escapedo says here, we need 5, so we'll probably get 2. Exactly what I thought. I think we'll get 3 maximum. And that's depending on sales. I think we'll get a left back because we've got to. I think we'll get a striker because we've got to. Núñez is going. I think Semicast will go, so we'll get a left back. I don't know if we'll replace Trent. Unless we get someone like Aina for free, then fair enough. But I don't think we'll replace Trent. I think we'll say, oh, like Bradley's there, but other people can cover, like Jones or Kwanzaa. That's the way we work. I think we get probably a centre-back if Konate leaves. But this is what pisses me off. We shouldn't need Konate to leave to get centre-back. We should be looking at centre-back anyway. We should be looking at centre-back to add to the squad. If you're going to get rid of anyone, get rid of a Gomez. He's unreliable in terms of... I feel bad for saying that, but it is what it is. He's a very good player. And as Louis Steele says here in the news, I would not be surprised if Joe Gomez departed. So if you're going to get rid of anyone, get rid of Gomez. I give Kwanzaa another chance. I think Kwanzaa needs his confidence back. But if we get rid of Konate for Huijsen or another centre-back, then that, for me, that's simply not good enough. We should be tying Konate down to a new deal, and we should be boosting that centre-back with competition. And potentially, eventually, replacing Virgil. Because Virgil's going in 2 years. He's signed a 2-year contract extension. He's going to be going 2 years. We don't want to react to that again. We don't want to let him go and then react to him going. We want to replace him beforehand. Like I said the other day, Dean Huijsen would be a perfect signing. There's plenty of other players out there. Huijsen would be a perfect signing because what he would do is give competition to Van Dijk and Konate, and eventually he would take over Van Dijk as the replacement. And hopefully then Konate and him, how young they are, 23 and 21, is it? Something like that. They should be our centre-back pairs then for the next 7 to 8 years. Easy. That's how it should be done. But instead, because we're sell to buy, we need money to bring players in. Konate could go for free next season. So we'll probably let him go this summer. So, but if we don't let Konate go, that's brilliant. But we won't go buy a centre-back. So it's like we're the catch-22 there. And then with the ultimatum, like we always are, do you want a new centre-back or do you want Konate? When really we should have Konate and a new centre-back. That's never an option at Liverpool. That's the issue. It's the same one when we went for Tchouaméni 3 years ago. 3-4 years ago now, we went for Tchouaméni. Ended up signing for Real Madrid. We went and got Nunez. And that was it. We didn't want a midfielder anymore for some reason. But our first midfielder, our first attempt to buy someone that summer was Tchouaméni. So we needed a midfielder. And people were saying, well, what do you want, a striker or a DM? I want fucking both. I want both. I don't want to just leave a position that's an issue because we've run out of budget. We shouldn't be running out of budgets at Liverpool. We shouldn't be running out of budget just because we spent 70 million on Nunez, whatever we spent on him. We got most of it back in in sales. So why are we running out? And then that's when we ended up panicking and getting half a mil last day transfer window. And then it crumbled that season. That's the issue with what we have with FSG, and people saying, "Oh, well, why are people still complaining about FSG win the league?" Because when we win the league now, watch what they do. They've got a chance now to turn things around. They've got a chance to prove to people, look, we do care about the club here. We do want us to win a bit more. We do want to go again. We do want to be ambitious. It's very rare people get second chances with me, but they've got a big chance this summer to correct things in the past. And will I be apologising for what are my thoughts about FSG being in the past? No, I will be apologising for the shit. Why would I apologise for what they've done? They let Klopp down massively. If they do things right in the summer, I'll be the first one to clap them. I'll be the first one to praise them. Just like I praised them about Slot. Just like I praised them about getting Jurgen Klopp in the first time. But I will be apologising for what they've done in the past. They've done that, and they've not been made accountable for it. Spot on said experience. So we saw how tired Travis Bertrand and even at times McAllister have been in recent games. Midfielder should be also a priority. If we don't get a midfielder this season, if we don't get a midfielder this summer, that is a big spit in the face again for me. I think it's another cut corner thing. They're seeing Gravenberch play well at 6 and think, yeah, we'll run with that. Well, that's it, we're fine with that. Look how fucking knackered they were. The reason why we lost against Newcastle, the reason why we lost against PSG was a big reason because of how fucking tired our players were. And it only did backfire in the league because we had a big gap. And the team that was chasing was Arsenal. If we had a City team chasing us this season, that City team, not even the City team that have been the last few years, but a little bit off of City, not the massive drop off City. If that City team were chasing us in this season, that drop off in the league, that tiredness in the league would have caught up with us. But we were relaxed because we had a massive gap. We had no pressure on us at all, and it helped massively. But in Champions League and the cup final, we saw massively how knackered the midfield was and how run. Two different ways, by the way, as well. It wasn't just outrun. The Carabao Cup final was outran, outplayed. The PSG one was simply outplayed. They had technically better players there in terms of creating and passing around. We need legs in that midfield. We need some more legs in that midfield. And we also need a bit more creativity in that midfield. McAllister has been said. McAllister's our best player. He's the one that does pretty much everything. Gravenberch, I'd love to see a bit further forward. I'd love to see McAllister maybe at the 10, potentially. I just want some better depth in that midfield. Curtis Jones is all right, but he's just not that level for me in terms of pushing McAllister, pushing Gravenberch. I want someone to push these players. And Szoboszlai has been getting away with bad performances as well. FSG, 51% fan owned LFC for me. I wish the Premier League forced this up on clubs now, where the Bundesliga do 51%, 49% owned, don't they? 51% for fan owned. That would be absolutely brilliant. What it says to me is we have no transfer funds after 70 million turnover. Then FSG are clearly taking money out of the club. I've never ever accused FSG of taking money out of the club. I've never ever accused them of that. And it'd be mad if they were. But when the wages reported, the wages that got reported, there was supposed to be a loss on the wages. There was supposed to be like a 20 million loss or something like that on the wages because we didn't get Champions League football. Was it last season? So we played Europa League last season. So we weren't paying bonuses for that. We got a lot of big wages off the books. So the wages that was coming out, the reported wages that were coming out, were supposed to be a loss of before. Instead, it was like a 175 million increase. So not only was it not a loss, it was an increase on the wages when we didn't have Champions League football. We lost big wages off the cards. We didn't bring anyone in for big wages, and that made me think now. So where's this money going? Where's this extra wage going? And if there's a way, I'm not accusing FSG of taking money out of the club. If that's the way, if that is happening, if they are doing that and they're scamming it through wages, then that is simply not acceptable, and that is simply, well, I have a lot to say about that. AFCON next year, we're also going to need Salah backup. We're not going to get a Salah backup. I'll be honest. I'm already talking here about not getting a midfielder because we won't pay for a midfielder. A position that we probably need a little bit of help in terms of the first team. We're not getting a Salah backup, and that's a big issue as well for me in the future. PSG are fired. Maka is our best player and definitely our next captain. I said that the other day, actually. I wouldn't mind McAllister being our next captain when Van Dijk goes. We saved 18 million in wages this season with players that left. Absolutely. I mean, we've saved wages constantly. And then we save wages, right? We saved these wages over the years. Ederson's, Fabinho's, Thiago's, Keita's, Milner's. We saved all these wages, right? And with the Salah and Van Dijk wage now, apparently it's going to take a big hit of the transfer budget. So where's the wages that we saved before? You know what I'm saying? Are we spending it on something else? What's going on here? What's going on here? Because we've saved a lot of big wages in the past. Diaz on like 65,000. Konate's on like 70,000. They're not big wages. The only big wages really like your major players that have been there for a while. And Salah and Van Dijk are the biggest now. So really, Salah and Van Dijk's wages should never hit the transfer budget. Never. Should never hit the transfer budget. Not with all the wages we've saved in the past. Certainly not. And not with all the revenue we make for fun as well. Right, let's get back onto the news then, guys. So, players that have potentially going, players that could potentially be going instead of coming in as well. So, as I said, Louis Steele has said, I would not be surprised if Joe Gomez departed. So, Konate might go, Joe Gomez might go, Tsimikas is going, Trent's going. That's four defenders potentially leaving the door. There's a little bit on Ben Doak as well. Ben Doak is attracting mass interest from Premier League sides for a permanent move. Liverpool like him, so we're not rushing to selling him. There's your Salah backup there. Who said it? Who said Salah backup? Oh, Escobar. There's your Salah backup, Escobar. Ben Doak. If we had to keep him, I think we'll probably move him on. He's a good, very very good season, very good loan deal with Middlesbrough. But I want to see him again in the preseason. See if he has improved his final product, his final movement. Let's see. Have a look. And if we learn him out again, then fair enough. He's still a young lad anyway. But yeah. Trent going, that is another 250k a week saved. Absolutely. Yeah. And really, that's what I'm saying. So the 250k that Trent's leaving behind should really go to the Van Dijk and Salah wages. So Salah and Van Dijk wages should never be touching our transfer budget. Never. They should never. So if they use the excuse of we're not signing this and that because we've got Van Dijk and Salah, so that don't fucking believe that shit. Don't believe that shit. So I can see that happening. I can see that massively happening. So Stefan Bajcetic then. So Ben Doak potentially going. Stefan Bajcetic will be given a chance to prove himself in the pre-season tour. He is not for sale yet. And this is where we're coming in again, where we probably won't buy a midfielder, is because Bajcecic's coming back like a new signing. And I'm a big fan of Bajcetic. I think he was sensational when he first came on the scene for Liverpool. And he came through as a 6. I still see him more as an 8 because I think he offers a lot going forward. I don't want to waste him at 6. I don't want him to really be that one that covers everything. But he has come through as a centre-back for the youth side, so he can play that double pivot. I think he'd suit Liverpool, that double pivot, alongside Gravenberch potentially. But again, I still want to see another midfielder coming. I love Endo, but I'd rather, if you had to gun to my head and I had to make a choice, would I rather get rid of Hendo and bring a brilliant midfielder to come in to fight for competition for Gravenberch? I'd say that. But I do like Endo. I think Endo's been a sensational thing, but just for space, squad depth, I'd rather a better midfielder come in, if that makes sense. Without disrespecting Endo on that part. So yeah, Bajcetic's could be coming back. And another thing here as well, let's get it back up. So Chiesa. Let's talk Chiesa. The truth is actually coming out about Chiesa and why he hasn't been given the game time that he desperately needs and I think deserves for me. I think Chiesa, when he has played, has been brilliant, bar 1 or 2 games. But other than that, the times he has played has been brilliant. The Carabao Cup final, the one that got us a goal back, I think he was brilliant when he came on. So this is what Louis Steele has said again today. I am told Chiesa's performance... Listen to this. Chiesa's performance against Plymouth in the FA Cup exit really concerned the coaching staff. It was not good enough and it set them back somewhat. It's a bit of a catch. Sorry. It's a bit of a catch-22 for Chiesa, but I'm confident we will see him play some part in these final 4 games. So the reason why Federico Chiesa has not been featured more so than what he has done, what he should be doing, is because he had a bad game against Plymouth. Now, let me go back. Give me 1 second, everyone. Give me 1 second. Let me go back. And let me go have a look at that team that played against Plymouth. Right, FA Cup. Here we go. Right, let's go to FA Cup. One second. For some reason, not coming up that. But yeah, I'll get it up. 1 second. Let me just put my charger in. I will get it up. The team that played FA Cup. So Plymouth, Liverpool, FA Cup. Right, let me get that team up. Ladies and gentlemen. Let me get that team up. So, the team for Liverpool in that game: Kelleher, net, Tsimikas, Gomez, Quansah, McConnell, Nyone, Endo, Elliott, Chiesa, Jota, Diaz. And then Nunes came on quite early. Trent Doherty came on. Isaac Mambea came on because he came on. Gomez got injured, didn't he, in that game? So, name me one player in that team that played for Liverpool, that game against Plymouth, that played okay. I'm not even going to give you good. I'm not even going to give play good. Who played okay? I'll go back to it. I'll be honest. I think McConnell was all right. I think Nyona did parts. That was it. That was it. Chiesa wasn't great. I'll tell you one thing. He wasn't the worst player on the pitch. Jota was fucking shit. Diaz was shit. Nunes was fucking pointless when he came on. Elliott was very poor. Kwanzaa was shit. Tsimikas was shit. So why now are we seeing Chiesa's performance against Plymouth has concerned the coaching staff? So that's why we might not be seeing him as much. So after that game alone, why the fuck are we seeing Tsimikas anymore? Why the fuck are we seeing Diaz? Because he was shocking. Why the fuck am I seeing Nunes before Chiesa? Fuck off. Why am I seeing Nunes before Chiesa? When the Plymouth game is not even his only bad game. Why is this a thing? Concerning. Chiesa that performance was concerning to the point where Nunes gets ahead of him. I just think Chiesa's just a signing where, and I feel sorry for him, but I think he's a signing. I think he's just an FSG signing. It's one that goes against the manager. The manager clearly don't want him. Never fancied him really. It's another half a mellow. That's what it is. Just signing someone for the sake of signing someone. Oh, it's just 10 million. What's that? It's a bargain. I'm not saying we shouldn't have signed him either here. But what it is, it's a big statement to how we work in the transfer window. And you want me to believe that this summer is going to be a big summer when you had the chance to back him last summer a little bit and you just gave him Chiesa. A player that he clearly didn't want or like for whatever reason. And this is the big problem. We're going to go into this summer. Are we going to keep going getting players that Alisson don't want, or just a player that we don't need at that point, or just a cheap bargain bin buy? Chiesa really, on his day, is not a bargain bin buy, but the money that he was and the injuries that he gets, he was a bargain bin buy. And to the point now where the excuse of not playing him now is because the coaching staff wasn't happy with his performance against Plymouth. What the fuck were the other 10 players on the pitch for them? And why the fuck have we seen the other 10 players since? Diaz plays every week. It was worse than Chiesa against Plymouth. Nunes gets ahead of Chiesa every week. He was fucking 10 times worse than Chiesa against Plymouth. So what kind of bullshit is that? Salary wages are the same anyway. He didn't get a raise, exactly that. No midfielder because they will use Nyona and McConnell. They already said we are ready for the first team squad. I prefer Nyona to McConnell, but again, we made the mistake over and over again in the previous years where we trusted too much on the depth that we already have when we don't have the depth that people think we have. And I said this a few years ago when our midfield were crumbling, and I got into heated arguments over it. And I said, look, our midfield's simply not good enough this season. Well, we've got youngsters coming through, this and that. A couple of the youngsters have been so long, by the way, now. Henderson's still got it. Fabinho still got it. And the only really the Fabinho one where I didn't see him dropping off. Everyone else has said, look, they're simply not good enough. That season, we ended up getting Europa League football because of our midfield was fucking shit. The summer after, the whole midfield went. It all went, and that's why we got us new midfielder. That wouldn't have happened if we addressed the midfield in the first place. And I'm seeing the same thing again now. That midfield needs addressing. And if we don't address it, I think it's a big, big mistake. Who costs 150k a week as well? Slot has made mistakes, no doubt. Feder and Endo should be unutilised. He ain't playing because there's probably add-ons in the deal that get him. That's it. That's it. I think that could be the real. I don't know. That could be the real reason, or the fact that it didn't want him in the first place. But yeah, we've seen in recent reports now about Nunes saying that if we start him again, it's another 4.3 million to Benfica. Anything to save money for FSG. If there's a clause in Chiesa's thing that we've got to play a certain amount of games or whatever, we've got to pay Juventus a little bit more money, then FSG will do all they can to save as much money as they can, can't they? It is what it is. But I think regarding putting Nunes over Chiesa, and regarding this, what's been said today about it was his game against Plymouth that's concerned the coaching staff, is absolute bollocks for me. If that's true, that's absolute bollocks. Because there was plenty of other players out that pitch that day, more senior than Chiesa, more players that have played more games than Chiesa that day. That was even worse. Jota, Diaz, Nunes, Elliott, they were worse than Chiesa that day. But we're seeing every week Diaz is playing every week. Jota's playing when he can. Nunes gets ahead of Chiesa. So I think it's absolute bollocks. Absolute bollocks if you're asking me. Just a little bit on as well. Hato, understand Liverpool and Arsenal are among those monitoring situation of Jarrell Hato at 19, heading into the summer transfer window. So that's certainly one to watch. Yeah, I think with Arsenal looking at him, a left back sort of centre back. They've got Miles Lewis-Skelly, but Miles Lewis-Skelly can play DM. He played DM as for the youth system. So it would be interesting to see what they do with if they were to get Hato. It would be interesting to see what they do with Lewis-Skelly. But yeah, Hato's certainly a player that I think we should be certainly looking at Liverpool because he covers centre back and left back area as well. But I think we need a specific left back, a specialist left back for me, Kirkes, to replace ultimately Andy Robertson in the end. So a little bit before we do go, guys, I'm going to come off in just a second. A little bit before we do go, Alisson Becker and his future at Liverpool. There were talks about Alisson Becker potentially might be going. Mohamed Ashford is coming in obviously in the summer, but he's not going. He's not going anywhere. So this is what was said about Alisson Becker. Ollie wants to continue living his story. I saw that wave of the Saudi opportunities, very high offers, but he has always, wow, I want to continue this story because I owe a lot of them to here. I want to continue this life here. And he also said something about his, I think it was his child as well. His child had been on Google or something like that, and I've been looking up like Liverpool keeper, Liverpool dad saves. Something like that. I think it's absolutely amazing that Alisson Becker is one of our greatest players I've seen in my lifetime. Certainly the best keeper I've ever had in my lifetime. I probably saw the latter end of Bruce Grobbelaar, but not enough to say is up there for me. The best keeper for Alisson Becker for me was probably Pepe Reina, but he's nowhere near Alisson Becker's level either. The Fede story doesn't pass the BS test. It absolutely doesn't pass the BS test. I think the only thing with Chiesa for me, I just think Slot didn't want him from the start. It's just an FSG signing. It's just one of them things like we're not going to back you, but we'll just say, look, we're going into the season trying to address things, but he is like a £10 million just for sake of buying someone. I think that shouldn't happen. That should not happen. But yeah, thank you everyone that has watched. Thank you everyone that has commented. Everyone in the chat, Escapado, Palo, who else chatted today? Let's have a look. To Xperia. Thank you all you guys that have chatted in the comments. Thank you everyone for watching so far. Make sure you do, to help us out massively, would just smash that like button right in the corner. Clicking the like button will just help us out massively in terms of growing the channel. Thank you everyone that has, I say this every day, thank you everyone that has smashed the like. Thank you everyone that has subscribed. Make sure you keep subscribing and join us as well. Hopefully we're back soon this week with another rendition of myself and Hooks. Hooks will be coming on this week. I don't know what day yet, though. Might be Saturday. So keep your notification bells on for that. Myself and Hooks, we need to speak about Arsenal losing last night and us winning the Premier League this week as well. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great night, guys, and see you all back tomorrow.